So just a couple of days ago, there was a story that surfaced, and it's everywhere on YouTube. A lot of creators on YouTube are talking about it, but I have my own perspective about it as well. But basically, a story surfaced about a couple weeks ago, actually, of a possibility of in about 10 years or so of implementing artificial wombs. Artificial wombs. Now, Ectolife, company name, is one of those such company facilities that promise to deliver 30,000 babies yearly. And I mean, just take a look at, we're going to provide a clip for you guys in just one sec, but just take a look at this clip because, I mean, honestly, first of all, this looks exactly like the scene from The Matrix. You got pods, you got babies, like, it's nuts, right? But let's get into some of the, I guess, the foundation, or at least let's define what artificial womb is. Okay, what exactly is considered an artificial womb? Now, the idea of an artificial womb has been in the study, or it has been in the imagination of scientists for the last 50 years. So I'm going to quote an article from, actually, this is from the World Economic Forum.
Oh,
surprise,
wow,
surprise, as well as Science Focus. So I'm going to quote, and here it is. So I quote, back in 2017, pediatric surgeons at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in the U.S. revealed a new technique that involves suspending the fetus in a bio bag. So imagine like a Ziploc bag, right? Giant Ziploc bag, full of synthetic amniotic fluid. They've so far tested the device on a premature lamb, attaching the animal's umbilical cord to a gas exchange machine outside the bag and keeps the blood topped up with oxygen and nutrients. It appears that the lamb did indeed survive and was kept alive. Now, even the World Economic Forum, like I mentioned, reported this back in 2017 as a breakthrough and a good. I mean, the tone of the article was, "Oh my gosh, it's here. Let's make it happen." And they're suggesting, and they're excited about the idea of possibly trying this out on humans. Now, because of this so-called, quote unquote success, many scientists around the world are now saying, okay, this is real, this is possible, let's test it out. So a lot of these so-called scientists are now claiming that this technology of an artificial womb, right, basically being able to fully develop a baby outside of a mother's womb, a woman's womb, saying that this could solve, infertility issue, it could solve issues of pregnancy complications. Even the WHO, World Health Organization, is citing that nearly 300,000 babies die every year due to pregnancy complication. And Ectolife, which is one of the companies that really kind of brought this story to surface, will help reduce human suffering, reduce C-sections, and they will make C-sections and premature birth basically ancient history. So it just so happens that Ectolife takes this concept of artificial womb to the next step, into full imagination. Now, furthermore, in Ectolife, and I'll talk a bit more to unpack this, but this Ectolife company is backed by a guy named Hashem Gaili. He's a filmmaker, a science communicator, a molecular biologist by trade based in Berlin, Germany. I don't know what's going on with these German scientists and people, but
I wonder.
Yeah,
we need Captain America.
Yeah. So, and this guy, by the way, released sci-fi books, movies. He released a movie called Simulation, which is all about simulating robots and humans and cybernetic beings. And Galili believes that the artificial womb facilities could be a reality in 10 years or less if ethical restrictions are removed. Now, what does he mean by ethical restrictions? There actually is a current international law that says that no scientific studies can be done on human embryos beyond 2 weeks of development. So if the embryo is beyond 2 weeks, the scientific community said, nope, you can't test on it, can't do anything with it. So what basically Gaili is saying that as soon as we can get that law repealed or make that obsolete, we can go and move ahead and start building these artificial wombs facilities all across the world. What do you guys think about that?
Oh man,
I don't want to think about that.
I mean, it's really scary and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, honestly, there's when I think about where society is moving towards nowadays, because I think if you introduced this idea even 10 years ago, but especially 15, 20, 30 years ago, everyone was that's so weird. Why would you do that, right? But we're moving towards a day and age where there's an emasculation of men. Mm-hmm. Women are being told, hey, be strong, independent, whatever, which they can be, but. Right. Let's be real. People are taking it the wrong direction, and it's now all about, if you're a girl, you should, you have to be working. You know, they're trying to destroy the nuclear family, all this stuff. Well, I mean, what's stopping them from going, hey, ladies, do you want to stop having the hassle of pregnancy? Do you want to not experience an extremely painful birth, right? Do you want to, I mean, honestly, it's so easy to make the logic of, hey, it's just like using a surrogate.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, the surrogate doesn't have to be a human in this case scenario. Yeah. You know?
And take a step further, you know, think about how the LGBTQ, you know, community might be responding to this, right? Oh, now I can have kids too. Right? You know, it's not like, hey, you know, a cisgender woman, you know, it's not that it's not only them that could have babies. Now I can have babies too. So again, I'm not bashing at the LGBTQ community. I'm just, this is going to escalate to certain things that we're not even thinking about anymore. Furthermore, another interesting thing is that according to some more additional reports, Ecto-Life is thinking about offering something called the Elite Package. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so here's what it is. All right, Elite Package would allow people to genetically engineer the embryo before implanting into the artificial womb. So this means that parents can now choose baby's level of intelligence, height, hair color, eye, physical strength, skin tone, skin color, you name it. Literally, I mean, you can custom. It's like playing
This
video
is
game,
weird,
right?
man.
You can customize literally everything
weird.
about your child.
Life is turning into a video game.
Seriously,
It's the custom creation page.
it is nuts. Now, obviously, like what you were alluding to earlier, Daniel, scientists and their fans and people who are backing this are saying, oh my gosh, it is here. It will solve infertility. It will reduce birth-related mortality issues. Again, same thing. It's all about convenience, right? The same things are being said about CBDCs, artificial meat, artificial food ingredients, artificial health, medicine, you name it. And now natural birth itself. So it always seems like they're always picking out these really marginal benefits, right? Small little benefits to say, okay, this is going to change the world. It's going to be awesome. But think of the consequences of both unknown and known, right? And I'll unpack a little bit more about it, you know, in terms of what I potentially see and speculate. To make matters worse, China is claiming that they're also on top of the technology as well, the artificial womb technology. And now on top of the artificial womb technology, they're developing an AI nanny to look after the unborn babies.
Oh, geez.
Literally, like it's like a cloning facility, right? So, I mean, it is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, at what point, right? Because I mean, for you guys as dads, right, you want the best for your kid, right? You want the best, but at one point, does it stop being your kid if you can genetically alter, you know, the child, right? It's like if I want my child to be 6'2", super athlete, super smart, whatever. You know, at what point does that become not your child, right? Like I imagine that there's going to be, you know, children who are like 6'3", and, you know, basketball stars, bench press 300 pounds, and you look at their dad, it's like some 5'2" Filipino dude, you know, and it's got like a keg, right? And like the mom is like some like, you know, 4'9" Chinese lady, right? And it's just like, hey, where's your son? It's like, oh, there's our son. Why is he black? You know, and why is he on the football field just, you know, toppling over everyone, right? So, you know, at what point does it become not your kid? And who's to say that if they have the ability to have so much control when the baby's in the womb, it's like, hey, we're going to give it the COVID vaccine just automatically.
Right.
You know, we're going to do this automatically. We're going to put something in there like the microchip or whatever to make these kids more compliant.
Yeah, and we're just talking about hypotheticals, right?
Right.
And I know some of those viewers out there saying, well, you know, Sam, Daniel, Nick, you're not a woman. You can't make comments on this. Okay, well, all right. I've done the homework. Since I'm not a woman, I've decided to read some comments written by women.
I thought you were going to say, so I'm going to decide to identify as well.
No. But I'm going to read some comments written by women of the video clip that we just showed you guys about the artificial womb and Ecto-Life. So one of the commenters, Holly, said, this is disturbing to the core. This whole concept eliminates the beautiful bond that can only be experienced through natural pregnancy. I'm sure some people will argue that there are people who don't have the luxury to experience pregnancy, and my heart goes out to those people, but this doesn't seem like a wise solution. Here's another comment by Daphne. She writes, so this will bring less bond between a child and mother and even more distance between the baby and the family members. And where there's no love, there's mass destruction. We are in the end times. Watch and pray. Now, I think Daphne is spot on in terms, it's very thematic to what we've been talking about with TikTok, man, and how it's taking away the attention, you know, the bond and the relationship between the parents and the child. I think the technocrats, oligarchs, and corporate overlords absolutely want a completely detached parent and children relationships. they want. I mean, this is what Karl Marx wanted. You know, in the in his manifesto, he wanted the destruction of the nuclear family because he believed that nuclear family was the catalyst for capitalism. And so, again, I'm not a woman, but I just read some comments of people who represent that gender. I do believe that this is gonna completely destroy not only the relationship, but flaws are what makes us human, right? It's what makes us appreciate the beauty, and oftentimes flaws come with strengths, and I don't know, guys. I think it truly takes away the humanity of you know what it means to be human. What do you guys think?
I think they're trying to just take God out of the picture.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
100%.
I mean, we have some experience in this. You know, we have 4 kids, and after our 3rd kid, you know, I thought I didn't want any more. And then 5 years later, we had another one.
Yeah.
Right. And my wife, she's such a tough lady, and she's gone through so much, but like the beauty and the bond and the uniqueness and all the little special little, it's like a surprise what they came out like. So I have colored eyes. My wife, she's Filipino. She's got very dark features, like her brown eyes. All my kids, except for one, my middle child, she's kind of have hazel eyes, right? And we were hoping like, man, if our new baby has like colored eyes like Dad, it'd be amazing. And sure enough, I see this little creature get brought over to me. He opens his eyes, looks straight at me, and he's got blue eyes.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's such a gamble, but it's a gift.
Yeah.
And that's God's gift to us.
Right.
Is these little personalities, these little creatures that develop. We have to mold them. And you know, they're very malleable at an early age, but with the help of God and all this, we can really put out something that can, a person that can change the world one day potentially.
Yeah.
And contribute. And I feel like that's really being taken away with this. This to me, this is like 10 years ago Alex Jones stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is 10 years ago Alex Jones stuff. But now this is like a reality to us. It just the first thing that I thought of when I heard this was cloning.
Yeah.
It sounds like cloning, and cloning is such a outlandish idea, but here we are.
Yeah. I mean,
Here we are.
This guy's saying 10 years. 10 years.
10 years is not a long time, guys.
No.
What's that, 2030?
No, that's 2032, technically speaking.
So 2 years after the Great Reset.
Yeah, and obviously the World Economic Forum is saying that this is the pinnacle accomplishment of the 4th Industrial Revolution, right? I mean, you got like Neuralink, you got cybernetic implants. Now you have like, hey, let's just get rid of any flaws of our human biology. Let's just completely program humans. Holy crap, man! So here's my final thought on this. I want to hear your final thoughts as well, but I mean, it's clear that they want to control not only our finances, our medicine, our food choice, intellect, but now imagine the possibility of them controlling our existence itself. You can literally take sperm banks and like make humans, right? And I'm only speculating. I'm only my imagination. This is where it's going, and I'm not saying this is where it's going, but like just think about the power that comes like a government-sponsored human creation facility where they literally can abuse it, right? They can literally create humans, program them to be obedient so that
soldiers.
They could be soldiers. They'll
Right.
never disobey. Labor forces, you name it. I mean, you have also issues with discrimination between people who are like the flawed natural borns versus artificially perfect, like stellar human beings, right? So there, now you have issues in terms of, well, you got on one side you have a population that are naturally born that clearly have flaws, which are beautiful. And on the other hand, you have perfectly lab-grown humans. Where does this go? And maybe the opposite can be true. Maybe some of these facilities will intentionally program flaws, biological flaws with some of these people and make them rely on, the big pharma health system to continue to feed the corporates.
Like something wrong with their genetic code.
Correct. And I honestly, this path will I think will only lead to a very dark path. It will open a Pandora's box that we will never be able to shut ever again once we cross that line.
Yeah,
Final thoughts.
I think my prediction, if this becomes a reality, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, guys, we're the three of us are very young, right? Like we're all in our late 20s, early 30s, or mid 30s. Sorry, Nick.
It's okay.
But we're all super young guys. If you think about how old we're going to be 20 years from now, we're still not old people 20 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're talking about a society 20 years from now where this has been in existence for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction is that ultimately parents are going to start seeing their quote unquote kids as more like pets. right? Where it's more of like a project where it's like, hey, that's cool. Let's visit, the baby, right? Like, let's go to the government facility and let's visit the baby. Let's see how it's doing and yada, yada, yada. And again, I love what the two women said. It completely destroys the bond. Therefore, it destroys the ability for the parents to be parents. And I think it goes back all the way. Now, it's been said before. It goes back to destroying the bond in the nuclear family, right? The divorce rate going up is not enough, right? All the stuff that they're doing is not enough. They have to do this now. It's insane.
Yeah. Nick, final thoughts?
Demolition Man. You guys ever seen that movie?
No.
You should. It's a banger from the 90s, man. It was Stallone and Wesley Snipes going at it, but like pretty much anything. There was like it's like a post-apocalyptic thing that bring Stallone back for whatever. Just watch it, but I'm sure you've seen it. But it's all these weird things, like, for them to procreate, they put like a little headset on, and they're just like, oh no, like organic stuff is disgusting. Anything organic, i.e. God created, is gross.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just,
I mean, there's a theme, right? It's a rejection of God's plan,
right?
The rejection of God's creation, which is perfect,
right?
And yes, fallen by what I believe. My theology is the fall of man in sin,